Call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. And at this time, I would like to give the opening to Councillor Jake Siemens.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Back in the early 1970s, when the SRSS was being built, the then Mayor of Steinbach, A.D. Penner, pushed the idea that an indoor pool should be attached during the build process. The idea took hold for an indoor pool, but it didn't work out between the town of Steinbach and the Hanover School Division to add one out at that time. During this time, the asphalt-bottomed outdoor pool located at today's EA Friesen Park, beside the JCAP Library, was in one of its last summers of operation, and Steinbach residents were clear that they wanted a pool. After much community discussion and forums, a referendum was held to build an outdoor pool, and that opened in 1979 and located at 80 Penner Park. Over the next 20 years, many different community groups pushed council to build an indoor pool. Council agreed, but felt that other infrastructure was needed first, before a pool, and that included a new lagoon. We had to complete the Main Street rebuild, a second arena, and the Public Works Maintenance Building. With those infrastructure projects complete, in early 2000, Council announced plans to build an indoor pool attached to the current outdoor pool. The 24,000 square foot facility opened in 2002 and sported a 6-lane, 25-meter lap pool, a leisure pool with beach entrance, along with a lazy river, slides, and a sauna with a hot tub. During COVID, and 20 years after opening, City Council updated that pool. As the cold weather set in December, my wife Audrey and myself decided that maybe we should start using the pool. It would help with her, she needs another knee replacement, so that would help with that. And after all, we do need more exercise as we go, and that's an opportunity. I would likely count on one hand how many times I've used that indoor pool over the last 20 plus years. But what we have found that by swimming a couple times a week when we go and swim laps or lounge in the hot tub, it's an amazing facility that complements our community. The first time we used it, I was again amazed that we had a facility like this in Steinbach, that I knew about, of course, and promoted when I worked for the city, and each year we budget for it, but I did not realize what a great facility we had. Each year at budget time, we see how busy the pool is because we get the numbers, but we also get the costs associated with it. One of the roles of council is to review and understand what makes Steinbach an attractive community to live in and what gives our residents a good quality of life standard. Steinbach has many great features, and the Aquatic Centre is certainly one of them that we can be very proud to have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Siemens. Council, we have the agenda in front of us, looking for a motion to adopt. Councillor Susan Penner, second by Councillor Bill Hebert. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. We got the minutes of December 20, 2022, the regular council meeting, starting on page 1. We've all had a chance to review. Looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Hebert, second by Councillor Swykstra. Any comments? No comments. Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Okay, seeing none. We are just a few minutes before 7:35, so we'll go down to administration. Number 9. 9A, accounts payable, back of the book. We've all had a chance to review. Looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Hebert, second by Councillor Siemens. Any comment? Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We have the 9B bylaw 2197 drain opening. We'll be looking at first and second reading tonight. Mr. Workington, could you please introduce this file?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, bylaw 2197 is a bylaw representing a plan of drain for a stretch of public drain along Elmdale Street between Barkman Avenue and Reimer Avenue. The purpose is to create this drain plan as part of the overall reorganization and subdivision for the development of the city's event center. Recommendation is for council to give this bylaw first and second reading.
Thank you, Mr. Workington. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor Swagstra.
I'll make the motion for first reading.
We have second or second by Councillor Siemens. Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is noted to create a plan of drain for the Elmdale drain. It's obviously an important part of Steinbach. This is happening because the land has been consolidated for the purposes of our event center. There's no change that's taking place in terms of how the drain is being used. This is formalizing what is already there to indicate that this is on a permanent basis, that this is how the Elmdale drain is going to look and work.
Thank you. Anything further?
Nothing further.
Anything further of council? Anything in closing?
No.
Call for the question. All in favor of first reading? That is carried. We'll go directly into second reading, looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Hebert, second by Councillor Pinner.
No comments from me.
Nothing further to add.
Nothing further of council. Call for the question. All's in favor? That is carried. Okay, we are now at 7:35, so we'll go back up to 6A, our public hearing. This is bylaw 2220, local improvement, is referring to the fire department ladder truck. At this time, I will close the council meeting, open the public hearing. Mr. Workting, could you please introduce this file?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and members of council, the local improvement plan represented by plan number 2023-01 and also bylaw 2220 is a proposed local improvement bylaw for the authorization of debt for the city to be able to purchase a fire department ladder truck as a local improvement as part of its 2023-2024 capital improvements program. The existing ladder truck of the city has been in use for many years. The original unit, when it was purchased as a used unit. It has now reached the end of its useful life. The proposed local improvement bylaw seeks authority to create debt funding for the city to purchase an additional, a replacement ladder truck. The proposed local improvement would seek to create, seek the authority to create $2 million of debt with a maximum interest rate of $800,000 to be repaid over a 5-year term. Notices as required under the Municipal Act have been issued. There is no written correspondence on file. Recommendation from administration is to give this bylaw first and second reading.
Thank you, Mr. Workting. Is there anyone here with questions, comments, or objections to this file? I'll ask again, is there anyone here with comments, questions, or objections to this file? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing, open the council meeting. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor Penner,
Motion to approve.
second by Councillor Hebert. Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our protective services is something that we as a city always need to make sure that we are investing into. Our fire chief has given us a long-term strategy of replacement of our fire trucks in terms of affordability with repair as well as replacement, and this falls into that long-term plan of reinvesting into a new ladder truck. And so I'm happy to go to approve up to $2 million of debt to help service that and continue our protective services of the city.
Thank you. Anything further, Councillor Hebert?
Having a lengthy background in public safety, it's always been a priority for me that our first responders are properly trained and that they have proper equipment. The ladder truck that we have now obviously is in repairs again, and it's becoming very expensive to repair that truck, and it's also becoming very hard to obtain the parts that are necessary to replace. And so, as has been indicated by Councillor Penner, the fire chief has sent us a proposal, and I think it's a satisfactory one, and I'm in favor of upgrading this ladder truck.
Thank you. Anything further of council? Anything in closing?
Nothing further.
Well, council, it's just natural progression. We bought a used ladder truck, served us well. We're very thankful we had it. It helped in many, many different fires, and saved a lot of work and helped put out fires, right? And so, but having said that, as things age, we use them, they age, they wear out, and it's time to replace. And I think it's important that we keep our emergency services in good shape. Training was mentioned. Yeah, training, having well-trained staff are very good, but also the equipment. It's very important to have good equipment and equipment we can rely on, because when it needs to be used, it's got to go. And so, yeah, I support this. Call for the question. All's in favor? Opposed? That is carried. As was said, we'll go right into second reading. Looking for a motion for second reading. Councillor Siemens, second by Councillor Hebert. Any comments?
I think it's all been said. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anything further?
I would agree, it's all been said. I'm in favor.
Nothing further of council. We'll call for the question. All's in favor? That is carried. We've got 6B. This is bylaw 2221 for local improvement regarding the lift station number 2 upgrade. At this time, we will close the council meeting, open the public hearing. Mr. Workerding, could you please introduce this file?
Mr. Mayor, proposed local improvement bylaw 2221 under local improvement plan 2023-02 proposes to upgrade 3 pumps and expand the lift station number 2 located at 330 Lowen Boulevard and install a sewer force main along Lowen Boulevard of approximately 390 meters with an estimated total cost of $2.265 million to be financed with a borrowing of $2 million to be repaid over a 5-year period with an annual payment of just over $500,000 with a maximum annual interest rate of 8%. The remaining project costs would be funded by the city's utility reserve. Notices as required under the Municipal Act have been issued. There is no written correspondence on file. Recommendation from administration is for council to give this bylaw first and second reading.
Thank you, Mr. Workington. Is there anyone here with comments, questions, or objections to this file? I'll ask one more time. Is there anyone here with comments, questions, or objections to this file? Seeing none, we will, I will close the public hearing, open the council meeting. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor
Motion to approve?
Second by Councillor Schweitzer. Go ahead, Councillor Siemens.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The one thing we deal with as a council on an ongoing basis is our infrastructure. And this is to upgrade our lift station on Lowen Boulevard. It would also put in some additional sewer lines. This is a big project that's going to happen. It's going to shut down the street. But it's important. This is a very important project because we have a lot of housing that is now potential subdivisions going in on the east end of Lowen Boulevard in Steinbach. So that will, one of the reasons that they haven't been able to develop as readily as they have is because we don't have the sewer requirements for those subdivisions. And this upgrade will help with that. Will improve our serviceability and will allow those subdivisions all to move ahead. So it is important that we approve this. That lift station, I think, is one of the early ones, the first ones that we've had in Steinbach as well. So it does need to have an upgrade as well. So upgrading and expanding it will only serve our housing and developments better in the future.
Thank you. Anything further?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Basic infrastructure remains our top priority. And that means that there's a lot of money that is spent on these upgrades, and it's money that is well spent. We need to continue upgrading our sewer system. In this case here, as Councillor Siemens noted, this is a lift station that needs the upgrade, needs the additional capacity. Should be noted, obviously, the cost is a total of $2.265 million. $2 million of that will be borrowed. The remainder will be taken from our utility reserve fund. I will also just comment on the interest rate. Just to be clear, the 8% is higher than what we've had before. That is a maximum. We're not expecting to have to pay an 8% interest rate, but we need to make sure that we cover ourselves here that if interest rates go up, that we don't have to have another public hearing. So that's that's a maximum amount, and that's why all of these borrowing bylaws now have, it used to be 7% as a maximum, now 8%, but obviously we're anticipating that it'll be less than that.
Thank you, Councillor Spicer. Anything further of council? Anything in closing? No, sir. I will call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, council will go directly into second reading on this one as well. Looking for a motion for second reading. Councillor Penner, second by Councillor Hebert. Any comments?
No comments.
Anything further? Anything further of council? Okay, call for the question. All those in favor of second reading? That is carried. We'll move to 6C. This is bylaw 2222, local improvement. This is referring to Barkman Avenue and Penner Street renewal on page 22 of our package. At this time, I will close the council meeting, open the public hearing. Mr. Workstein, could you please introduce this file?
Mr. Mayor, local improvement bylaw 2222 and plan 2023-03 proposes to complete street and underground infrastructure renewal for a section of Barkman Avenue between Henry Street and Beaver Crescent and Penner Street between Reimer Avenue and Barkman Avenue in 2023. Total estimated costs of the project are to be $2.6 million to be financed with a borrowing of $1.12 million to be repaid over a 5-year period with a maximum annual interest rate of 8%. The remaining costs would be funded by the city's reserve funds. Notices as required under the Municipal Act were issued. There is no written correspondence on file. Recommendation from administration is for council to give this bylaw first and second reading.
Thank you, Mr. Workstein. Is there anyone here with comments, questions, or objections to this file? I will ask one more time. Is there anyone here with comments, questions, or objections to this file? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing, open the council meeting. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor Penner?
Motion to approve?
Second by Councillor Hebert. Go ahead, Councillor Penner.
Yeah, as Mr. Workington indicated, this is a part of our regular renewal that we do every year in the city. So every year we, based on engineering's recommendations, we, go into a certain neighborhood and reconstruct water or the roadway, and if there's underground infrastructure that needs to be, improved as well, then we do it at that time. So yeah, this is just a routine project, but it's another big infrastructure project for our community.
Thank you. Anything further, Ms.?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe that renewal is very important, and as the sewer, the underground infrastructure ages, we keep renewing it, and this way we keep our city in good shape. I think it's a good plan to do this.
Anything further of council? Anything in closing?
Nothing further.
Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We'll go directly into second reading on this file as well. Looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Penner, second by Councillor Spicer. Any comments?
Nothing further to add to the file.
Anything further?
Nope.
Anything further of council? We'll go right into the question. Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried.
Right?
We will move down. There's no delegation, no reports and recommendations for the city manager, so we'll move to number 10, council question period. Council, or is there any questions of council? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to correspondence and petitions. Council, we have the Seine Roseau Watershed District minutes, November 15th, 2022, on page 35. How would you like to proceed? Take that as information. Okay. We got number 12A, other business. This is Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure. This is referring to the Highway 12 North Traffic Signal Coordination. Councillor Siemens.
I can speak to that, Mr. Mayor. Over the last well, it's been more than a few months, but it's probably been the last year, I've heard quite a number of complaints regarding our traffic lights and the situation on number 12 highway. So there's been a lot of different complaints. You have to remember we met with the Signals Division, I think, as a council in 2019, and so they did make some changes. But I think there's some things that we need to address again. Some of the complaints I've heard are due to the amount of time it takes to drive through Steinbach on any given day, especially during peak hours. Our traffic study does verify the amount of increased traffic that we are dealing with. But it's not just traffic, it's the lights that we get complaints about. Complaints I've heard most often are left-hand turn lane issues, and they aren't long enough. The Penfield Acres intersection, for example, only 3 cars can make it through turning left from the north. The left-hand turn at Superstore Co-op intersection allows only 6 cars through when there's often 10 or more cars stacked up in the turning lane. And that's an experience that I've had as well, that it's taken a couple sets of lights to go through. The left-hand turn lanes at many of the intersections are an issue. And we could get into more specifics, but I think this is just to indicate there are issues there. The traffic lights do change, or the program changes for the night at some point, and it has caused issues as well. The traffic lights do not stay green for north and southbound traffic on number 12, and stops the limited amount of traffic that there is, especially frustrating the snow haulers that are out there right now that need to stop at intersections when there's no traffic around early mornings. So that has, I've heard that complaint. The left-hand turn signals at Gulf Air and Clear Spring Road cycles through frequently, even if there's no traffic around. So there is something that's not correct there. One solution that might be is that during the evening or during the night, from roughly 11 p.m. to 5 a.m., for example, or 6 a.m., maybe we could suggest a flashing orange for the north-south traffic and red for the east-west traffic on those number 12, just as a suggestion. But these are some of the current concerns I've heard and experienced in the last number of months. I think the next step might be for Council to direct administration to meet with the Signals Division again and of Manitoba Infrastructure to address these concerns. In addition, we've had MIT Signals meet with Council at SPC meeting in the past. There might be an idea to do so again in the future. The bottom line is we need to address these issues as we hear ongoing complaints of restricted traffic movement in Steinbach. So there's lots of complaints. What do we do? And I think one thing we could do is ask administration to meet with the Signals. Another thing we could do is Council himself could meet. We often talk in generalities when it comes to that. We don't have times and dates and all those things, all the information that's needed to give them specific information like they need. But I think the recommendation I would have, perhaps, is have administration meet with Signals as a starting point and report back, is one suggestion.
Anything further of Council? Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I completely agree with Councillor Siemens on this. This is, it's frustrating, and I do hear complaints, and I experience it myself. There were a couple of times in December where I'm going from my house, which is in the south end of Steinbach in the Meadows area, to Clear Spring Mall, and I timed it. It took me almost 25 minutes. Because I'm getting caught at these lights, and there's so much traffic that is turning on. There were actually a couple intersections. One of them was at Lowen and Highway 12, which is one of the intersections that is getting upgraded shortly, where I'm sitting at a green light and I can't go because the cars are all filled up, because it all filled up from the cars that were turning in, and you missed an entire cycle just sitting there at a green light, and you have to wait for the next, and it's very frustrating. And when you consider all the people that need to get from one place to the other for work purposes, we have business within Steinbach. We have deliveries that happen. And so, yes, I agree with Councillor Siemens that we do need to relay this information to Manitoba Infrastructure and Transportation and have this addressed. Whether it's better synchronization of the lights, I like the idea of perhaps at nighttime having the flashing lights. It's common in cities. When you're in the nighttime and you don't have much traffic to have the flashing lights, so that way traffic can go through more quickly. So absolutely, I think we do need to address this.
Thank you. Anything further of Council? Okay, so Council, I just looking for consensus. Do we agree with Councillor Siemens and Councillor Swagstra? Give this over to administration to meet with MTI with, and come up with a resolve. Meanwhile, I do believe that it would be best if we could when we are driving that area, or if, we could get times and particulars of what's happened to give them proof, so they can go back on that date, what was going on with that light, because they do have that technology. So if we can forward all that information to administration, and they will meet with MTI, and then hopefully they can come forward to, maybe we can invite them to an SPC meeting, and then they can discuss and let us know what they've done as far as the result, so that we know, because we are the face of Steinbach, and our residents will come to us with any concerns. And we've all been hearing them about the traffic lights on number 12, plus we've been able to experience them all personally as well. Okay, so Mr. Workney, we'll give that over to you and your team, and you can set up a meeting with MTI, and then once the resolution has come and they've done what could be best done for those intersections, then if we could have them at SPC so we could go over this and just close the book on this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will follow up on that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, looking for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Susan Penner, second by Councillor Hebert. Call for the question. All's in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Next regular council meeting is Tuesday, January 17th, 2023 at 7:30. Thank you.